So she actually is what we call an imprint, and that's just a nice way of saying that she was actually raised by people. Now, this happens sometimes on purpose in the zoo field. In Stella's case, she was actually taken out of the wild and raised illegally. So as a general person in the public, it is not legal for you to own this species of owl. And so, unfortunately, she did not really learn how to be a wild owl. And that hinders her from being released into the wild. So she came to Elmwood Park Zoo because of this, and then she joined the Temple team basically as a live mascot several years ago. And so I believe this would have been her 5th season, I think, this last year. Unfortunately, we didn't get to have a season yet, but we're hoping in the future maybe. So her role as an ambassador means that she meets lots of people here at the zoo. She does programs, different events, and then of course she has often done Temple sports events and things in the past. When she was confiscated, so someone found out that she was being kept illegally, and so she was taken in by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. That is the organization that protects and responds to any situations where a wildlife animal is being kept illegally. And so they actually tried to release her and unfortunately realized that she's not very good at doing owl things. She can't fly very well. She actually does not develop her flight or tail feathers properly. And we think some of that could be from lack of a proper diet when she was younger. So she does look a little short in the back because she's missing some of those feathers. So once that was realized, she was placed on a list, and those types of lists usually go out to zoos, where if you have space and resources and you're looking for that type of animal, you can be placed with one. And so Stella actually came from Washington State, so she's not from Pennsylvania. She came all the way across the country to live here at Elmwood. And then her role with Temple, you know, we were asked about her as a bird, and her personality and her background actually sets her up really well to be a successful ambassador. Not very many owls, especially, could be in situations where there are a lot of people and a lot of noise and be comfortable. But, you know, that's how she got here, but we have had to work and make sure that she remains comfortable throughout her time here. So it's not just she was raised by people and she makes a good ambassador. There is still lots of training and work involved. A lot of her training involves rewards, and in this case, for an owl, their main reward is going to be food. They are predators in the wild. They hunt for small animals. Stella's unable to do that, so instead we create an opportunity for her to work for her food in a different way. And so we use her diet to tell her she's doing a good job. And we actually reward her for a lot of different stages of her training. Every day when she comes out, she actually voluntarily steps up on the glove. She goes on a scale. She goes in a crate for transport. She allows us to attach her leash to her. And then we reward her while she is out on the glove because she might be encountering new things, new people, and we want to make sure she understands that this is a safe environment. So we do have to watch out a lot as trainers. We're kind of always on the lookout for things that we can prevent from being scary. Thankfully, Stella really does have a pretty good tolerance, and she's comfortable in, again, a lot of situations that most owls would not be. But it does still require a lot of trust building. So Stella is, we jokingly call her a diva. She is very particular about who she works with. So a lot of her training initially was building up a relationship where she trusted us enough to participate, and in those situations where things might be different or there might be, you know, scary things or high variables, that helps us a lot because we can kind of work her through that and bring her back to focus on us rather than the scary thing that's happening. But it is an everyday thing, and it changes with the seasons. Right now is a really hard season for Stella because in the winter time, our birds do live outside and they fatten up a little bit for the winter. They get to eat a little bit of extra food, but once the warm spring weather hits, their motivation completely drops. So this is not an easy time to work with Stella. So we ease back the criteria a little bit, and we reward her a lot more frequently than we might normally. Yeah, it's a really cool opportunity to bring conservation education to an area where you wouldn't normally have that. So you're going to, Stella in particular has attended a lot of home football games and basketball, and you're meeting these guests and these fans and these students that ordinarily might not be attending that event and learning about an owl or, you know, the connection between their mascot and the owls that live in our backyard, because great horned owls are native to Pennsylvania and they do share our habitats. And while they are not endangered or at risk, there are a lot of human impacts that can be dangerous for them. So it's really cool to be able to talk to people in a setting that normally would not have really any kind of conservation connection, and just bring that to people's attention, and it forms that bond. Again, that connection, that empathy with the animal. It's one thing to see an owl on TV or see an owl on, in a movie and hear one or something, but to meet one up close and learn its story and that it has a personality can really make a bigger impact. And people love Stella and remember Stella, and we have other mascots here at the zoo, but Stella has by far the largest fan base, and it's amazing. People reach out and ask about her all the time, which is pretty cool. We actually have 2 ambassador eagles. We have Noah and we have Reggie. So they are both live mascots for the Eagles. Noah is our original mascot. He would have been, again, I think his 5th or 6th season last year. And then Reggie joined in 2019 he's the younger one, and so we're in the process of training him. And so they attend a lot of home football games and Eagles events. And their training is similar in style to Stella's, but also very different. So even, from eagle to owl, they're both birds of prey. They both have a strong prey drive and a food drive, but their training looks very different.